Hi, this is Siegfried from Dragony, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
70,000 tons of metal. The original, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, one cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets. From Miami, Florida to Ocho Rios, Jamaica, January 30th to February 3rd, 2025. 5 days and 4 nights mingling side by side with your favorite artists in this incredible fan-friendly scenario that has no comparison. Go to 70,000tons.com and book your ticket now.
Hello, my
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm well. Hang on, just getting my partner in here. Give me 1 second.
Sure thing.
All right, so let's talk about Dragony first.
Yeah.
First off, how are we pronouncing this record? Because that's
You
not my
pro-
native tongue.
It's nobody's native tongue anymore. It's Latin, and I mean, there's different ways, I guess, depending on which side of the world you're from. With me, being a German native speaker, we would usually pronounce it Hic Svnt Dracones. So,
That-
translating to "Here be dragons."
oh, okay. I thought it was something really deep and dark, but it looks very mysterious anyway. So
No,
now that
not really. Yeah.
no,
Go ahead.
so now,
Sorry.
now that it's complete and it's done, and I guess it's October 11th, so you're only a couple weeks away, right?
Yeah, next week actually. So next Friday, it's
yeah, I
it's
guess it
already
is
out.
next week. How do you
Yeah.
feel about it? And are you satisfied with the outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to say that for, about every new record as a band, that it's the
Sure.
best one yet. But I think we were really able to basically up the ante on all aspects of the game, of our game this time. So both on the individual performance level, production level, and also songwriting level. I think we have a pretty good mix of like, let's say, more old school songs and a bit more modern power metal songs. Individual performances have improved. We have a few new members in the band, so that's a bit of fresh energy there. And in terms of production, we also let's say, to turn a negative into a positive, because we had to pivot kind of last minute in terms of the mixing and mastering engineer, because the last album was mixed and mastered by Seb Leverman from Orden Ogan, but he wasn't available this time because he was on tour with his own band. So we had to kind of pivot last minute, and luckily one Jacob Hansen was available, and he's one of the best engineers for the symphonic melodic metal right now. And of course, his work is always stellar. So he kind of put the finishing touch on the album and really turned it into
Right.
something special.
But a lot of different changes, right? Because you've mentioned you've got some new members, new producers, new engineers. How did that affect the overall
I mean, in terms of the
project?
songwriting process, it was pretty much the same, because our producer, Frank Pitters, he's basically our seventh band member. He's been working with us since the beginning of the band. In the beginning, he was more just a technical engineer, basically helping us with the recordings. But in the last couple of years, for the last two albums, I could say, he's also been heavily involved on the songwriting side of things. So basically, all the songs are being put together with him in the studio. So usually someone would provide an idea. Could be me, could be our keyboard player, could be our guitarist. The bassist would be there, and then I'd go to the studio with Frank, and we work on the details. So that's still the same, but the input was a bit different this time, because we have a new guitar player, Matt. He joined already more or less with the last album, Viribus Unitis, but became a full band member a little bit after the release of that album. And most recently, we welcomed Chris into our ranks as our new drummer. And he's actually also been involved in a way in the album production. He actually contributed a song together with our new guitarist, Matt, which is the Einherja, one of the songs of the album. And they have a very particular liking for triplets and folk elements. So that's a different touch and a different vibe for our music as well. So they already added a lot of different facets, I would say. Sorry,
Muted.
your sound is
Muted.
gone.
Welcome Dark, who meets Siegfried.
Hey, hey.
Hi. Nice to
Sorry.
see
Dark
you.
is Dark is our resident, I guess, power metal expert, so I'm
Oh,
glad he was
excellent.
able to join us. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
Sorry, I was having some headset difficulties. Was
Yeah.
I when I was blabbering, testing? Was that coming through?
No, we're
Occasionally.
good.
Okay. Okay, cool. I came in the middle of that. So it sounds like you're bringing some folk influence in, and uh, different engineers
Well,
aren't changing the sound. Okay, go on, go.
all right.
I'm trying not to retread the same ground is my problem.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. No, no problem. Yeah, so I just mentioned that our new drummer, Chris, he already contributed some song ideas together with our new guitarist, Matt, in the song The Einherja. And because they are fans of, this kind of folky pagan metal, they brought that into that song. And that's a facet of the sound that we've not had with Dragon in the past. So
Yeah.
they brought a lot of fresh energy and a lot of fresh inspiration for the new album as well.
So, Bruce, do you have anything, or can I just go on and nerd out
No,
for a
please
sec?
go ahead. I've got a lot,
Oh.
but go ahead. That's why we're here. So go.
So yeah, I guess what I was originally going to ask about was like within, the power metal or whatever term you'd like to call yourself scene. Like I was going to ask about influences and whether like obviously it's evolved a lot, particularly in the last 15 years or so.
Hmm.
And you're telling me now you're bringing in folk. So specifically, I was wondering, and that's fantastic. Everybody loves Insiferum, but Winter Sun just dropped time too. It only took 12 years, but
Yeah, it's
uh,
okay. Worth it.
yeah, right. Um, so, I mean, you could just go on and run with this, but like, are you still influenced by the same bands that made you want to do this in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. And I think you can still hear this in our material because especially the songs that where I write like the core of the song, like the chorus or some melodies, that's still heavily influenced by, the late 90s, early 2000s power metal with bands like that, Stratovarius, Rhapsody of Fire, Sonata Arctica, Hammerfall, Camelot, Avantasia, etc., of the European power metal scene. But of course, over the past, let's say 10, 15 years, like you said, there's kind of a new breed of power metal now on the market. Bands, inspired by, Sabaton, Powerwolf, Beast in Black, etc. So they've kind of added a different wrinkle to the whole game where, let's say, the songs are sometimes a bit more straightforward, a bit simpler than the old school power metal was back in the 2000s. But that has the advantage that those songs really work well live. So at live shows, it's really much easier to grab people's attention, make them sing along, etc. And that's also fun. So what we were trying to do with this album is to strike a balance between the old school power metal that is a bit more complex, it has more orchestration, more bombast, etc., and those kind of more modern sounding tracks that you know are written in a style that could be, compared to bands like Powerwolf or Beast in Black, for example. And I think we managed that. I think it's like pretty much half and half on the album.
You just hit like everything I was going to ask about. Now I'm left unprepared. But yeah, I was gonna bring up like the modern split and like the big ones. I think it's a bit odd always that Sabaton gets the same umbrella term as Rhapsody does, and I love both of them, but those are different bands.
It's very different. The whole approach to the songwriting is different. The whole approach to what the goal of the songwriting is. I think with Rhapsody and of Fire or Without Fire, or with Luca Turilli without Fabio Leone, with Fabio Leone, I don't know who else. I think it's always been the goal to have like this huge, like broad storytelling, epic environment with a lot of, like escapism, and you can go to another world that they came up with and talk about the storylines, etc. And that was always the beauty about it. And you have those like opulent orchestrations that kind of really give you this Hollywood movie score feel. And then you have Sabaton, which is a band that is very much grounded in reality, with real battles, real war scenarios being the core of their songs. And the songs are more straightforward, don't usually have like orchestrations, don't have any fantastical elements whatsoever. So yeah, it's two, like basically two ends of the spectrum, if you will, from if we're still staying within the power metal genre as a whole. But you have like Sabaton on one side and you have Rhapsody of Fire somewhere on the other, and I guess with Dragony we're somewhere oscillating between those two.
So the oscillation is what has me really curious. Do you mean that like half the songs are like Sabaton and half the songs are like Stradivarius, or do you mean like the music is like Sabaton but you're singing about swords and dragons?
No, it's really the music. So there's like half the songs would be more the straightforward more synth-driven songs that take a bit of inspiration from bands like Sabaton or Powerwolf or Beast in Black. And then there's a bunch of songs that take a lot of inspiration musically from Rhapsody and those kind of bands that have a lot of orchestra, have a lot of epic choirs, etc. So that's kind of more, and we all sing about swords in all of them. So that's kind of the thing. Even though we do have a little bit of a real life history thrown in, and that actually I think works really well with where you're located right now, Bruce, because our story is actually set on the Roanoke Island. So I think
Oh,
that
okay.
was not. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I-
remember seeing. Did you watch American Horror Story?
Exactly. Yes, right. I did.
Yeah.
So I took a bit of inspiration from that, and what we're doing with the concept of this album is basically with similar to what we did on the previous album, Viribus Unitis, which was like a sort of alternate history take on our own history as Austrians with the Habsburg monarchy, the Habsburg Empire, which we
Right.
basically where we took Emperor Francis Joseph and his wife Sissi and their son Rudolf, and we put them into a steampunk magic storyline. And we're doing this something similar now here with the Lost Colony of Roanoke, which in our story, I think in real life, I think the colonists probably just got mingled up with the local native tribes.
Right.
But in our story, they get spirited away by a Jules Verne-like twist to, a mythical land before time where dinosaurs, so basically dragons, still exist, and where also 1,000 years before Vikings had arrived because they suffered the same kind of fate and they were exploring the North American continent 1,000 years earlier. And then we try in this way to make the most power metal album of the year because we're combining all the popular genres and cliches and tropes that are out there right now, from the privateers of the 16th century
Right.
to Vikings and Norse mythology with mingled in with dragons, basically.
So
And
how
of
the
course,
heck
yeah.
so how the heck are you doing this then? Do you sit down and write the story and then pull the lyrics from this? Is it like a short story first? Or do you
Um,
just start writing?
yeah, basically there's like a core idea where I say, okay, I have this in my mind. This should be kind of the story, and then I will write like a very short storyline synopsis, which is also actually on our website, so people can kind of retrace my steps that I was taking when coming up with the lyrics. And then yeah, we write the music, of course, and then I will adapt the lyrics basically to whichever part of the story we say that this song or that song relates to. So usually the music is independent of the lyrics at first, but then I make the lyrics fit to the story and to the music, of course.
Nice. I'm gonna let Dark talk in a second, but by the way, that Roanoke was probably my favorite American horror.
Yeah, yeah, it was one of the best
That was
one.
with
I
Kathy
agree.
Bates, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was great. And freaky and everything, yes. Sorry,
Yeah,
Dark, go ahead.
it's fine. I'm sitting here laughing. So I guess our perspective as Americans, and maybe this says more about me than about the country. When you said you start talking about your story that you're going to write, and the way you phrased it was something like it sits particularly well with where you're located. I thought you meant me because I live in New York, and
Okay,
then it's
okay.
like then you go to Bruce, and he's in Virginia.
Dude,
Yes,
it's my show. It's all about me.
I know it is, but that's the thing is then when it's not about me because I'm just an asshole and I assume everything's about me. It's like, okay, it's about Virginia. It's definitely going to be Revolutionary War or Civil War. I don't know how much you know about American history. Bruce lives pretty close to Richmond, Virginia, that has a colorful past. Oh, wait, was that the wrong word for this? With our U.S. secession 150
Yeah.
years ago. But anyway, so you pick up Roanoke. Like this
Yeah.
kind of thing comes across to Europeans.
Yeah, it does. Thanks to like pop culture stuff like the American Horror Story thing. Yeah,
I'm sitting here in disbelief. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, is it going to be about like George Washington or?
No. This is actually going to be about like let's say we have just basically the first two colonization attempts by Sir Walter Raleigh. That where Queen Elizabeth I basically sent him to, or gave him a charter to colonize Virginia, which I think Roanoke actually is not in Virginia. It's North Carolina now, right? So
So that's a weird thing because we actually have a Roanoke, Virginia, which is only like 2 hours from here.
oh right,
But
okay,
that's different from the Roanoke Island, which I
Island,
believe
yeah,
is North Carolina, maybe?
They're not the
yeah.
same.
I think
I,
so, yeah.
I thought that was the Roanoke.
No, 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 no. No, it's like a Roanoke colony. It's an island, like I think off of North Carolina. And I don't know, I'll probably get all
Yeah.
kinds of comments from this, but I think it's North Carolina.
Yeah, it is North Carolina now, but I think it was supposed to be Virginia back then, which was also why the first person, like born British person born in North America, was actually called Virginia, right? So her name was Virginia there, and yeah, so she also plays a little part in our fictionalized story.
That's
Wow.
wonderful. What do you guys have planned for this on the road? Are you guys taking it on the road?
Yeah, of course. We are planning a little bit of touring. Not so much this year. We have a few select shows. We have the day after the release on the next week on 12th of October. We'll be in Birmingham in the UK playing Power Metal Quest Fest. So this will be cool because it will be like the first show after the release of the album at this kind of power metal focused event. Then we'll have a few shows later this year around December to have an album release show, play a few shows also with Freedom Call in the Czech Republic, and then we do a bit of more extensive touring in March and February next year. We're going to be doing a 2 weeks European tour with Sirius Black. Have one or two festivals confirmed for the summer, but that's where it ends at this point. And we're still, of course, working on new tour dates and yeah, hopefully more opportunities to take it on the road.
You don't have any plans on being in Florida like the end of January, do you?
Stop stealing my questions.
I would love to. I would love to, Mr. Andy Pillar, my phone is always available, give me a call. We've done it before. We've done it in 2019. It was a great experience. I've also done it once with the Vision of Atlantis, and I was there once just privately enjoying the cruise as well. So did it 3 times. It's always a fantastic experience, and would love to go again, of course.
Yeah, we're veterans. Dark has been on a million times. In fact, that's where I met him years ago, and I've been
Right.
going since 2011. So yeah,
Awesome.
I was just curious. You didn't mention the January thing, so Mr. Andy
I mean,
Pillar will throw it out there.
yeah, and with 70K, it can always happen last minute. Also, it's like he books a lot of bands, like where it's like maybe 2 weeks before the cruise is like okay, or 3 weeks maybe.
I
So
love
there's a
that he
chance,
just fly,
but
I love that he
yeah,
just flies by the seat of his pants, man. He just kind of
yeah,
puts. It always works,
soon.
but
Last year,
soon.
this past year, I can't remember why, but one band had to drop out the day before setting sail.
Mm.
So he actually got Lich King on board by like calling them, and they're like, "You guys are in Boston, right?" I'm like, yeah. Like, can you get down here in 10 hours or something? Like, yeah, that probably doesn't
Nice.
work for Europeans, but I mean,
I mean, maybe not the day before, but like give it 2 days and we can make it work.
last minute, like you better hope those Heathrow connections work out there. But
Yeah, that's right.
so if you're not doing 70K or at least not planning to, what does it take to get a band like Dragony into the States?
A lot of money. Not necessarily for us, but to pay for all the expenses. That's the problem. That's really the problem. Because you have the flights. You need, especially if it's a tour, you need visas, which is a pain in the butt right now. Especially for smaller bands, you might not even get the working visas. Then all the travel expenses in the US. It's really tough. I mean, we would love to do shows in the US at some point. I mean, 70K was the easiest version because you don't need the work visa for that. But doing something like Prog Power would be awesome. Or a support tour, but the finances that come with that are really challenging for a smaller band like us. So yeah, never say never, because I mean we played the 2 week headlining tour in Mexico last year, so things can happen. But that was a very weird coincidence. Let's put it that way.
How was
And we
Mexico?
and Mexico was
Mexico.
super fun. Was super
Yeah, I
fun.
hear their fans are pretty rabid, right?
Fans were great. I mean, we didn't, of course, have like the biggest shows because we were co-headlining with the also smaller band from the UK, Neon Fly. Their guitarist is half Mexican, so he knows the culture, and he they played there before, so that was really cool. We had good crowds in like 2 or 3 cities, around 100 people or so, which is not much in the grand scheme of things. But for smaller bands from Europe, it was pretty nice. But even if it was not that many people, they were really, really enthusiastic and really cool. And everything was very well organized. And yeah, we had a promoter there who just basically invited us and took care of everything, flights and transportation and accommodation. And we it was like the luxury treatment, a little bit like rock stars feeling.
That's beautiful.
So if you know someone in the US who would do that for us, we're there in a heartbeat. No problem.
I'm just saying, about a month ago, 2 months. Ow, I'm getting old.
Oh yeah.
But, I was in Madison, Wisconsin. You ever hear of that place?
It sounds familiar.
Well, there's a festival there called Mad with Power.
Oh yeah, I know this one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they just got Fellowship over. Do you have any relation to them at all?
Not really, but I mean they're fairly new to the scene. They're kind of like a bit of a hype act right now. I mean they should be getting bigger soon because I think Chris Bowes from Ailstorm has taken a liking to them as well. So he's putting them on tour with Gloryhammer now. So I think they're kind of the current like popular thing. So I guess there's a lot of interest there for sure. Would be cool to play with them as well, no doubt.
Well, I was gonna say that's another avenue. I know like most festivals are like, there's Epic Fest in Roskilde. Am I pronouncing this correctly? Roskilde?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and what was the one in the UK you were gonna do?
Power Metal Quest Fest is what we're doing. I mean, I tried to get in touch with the guys from Epic Fest as well. So far, they've not been responsive to my contact, so maybe no interest there. But we'll keep trying.
Get a hold of Ty.
Have you met Ty?
Ty
Christian, singer from Wars of the Trident.
Not yet.
Oh,
I don't.
You should.
No,
you should. He's always on the show.
Fun.
He's been on the show 100 times, but he's in charge of the event that Dark's talking about.
Yeah, I have no affiliation with him other than I think.
All right. Okay. So he's doing the Mad with Power.
Yes.
All right. Okay. That checks out.
Yeah. Get a hold of him because I think he'd probably get you guys over.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
If nothing else, he's like the coolest guy on the planet, so you might get a good.
Yeah, he seems super fun. Like I'm following the socials and with all the parody videos and stuff. Like it's very nice. I like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's always like my favorite to talk about with power metal bands is how to get them here because I'm tired of going to like cruise ships in Europe.
Yes, get us there. We're very much waiting for it.
So what's up, Bruce?
I was just curious, and I know we got to wrap it up shortly, but why do you think power metal has not taken as much root over here as it has in Europe?
I think because of the cheesiness factor, to be honest, because I totally get that, for us as non-native English speakers, it's not so much of an issue somehow when the lyrics are a little bit, very much over the top, and especially from a lot of European bands, they're not very much on point a lot of times, grammatically and stuff like that. I mean, Gloryhammer based their whole first album around the idea that, Italians have really bad English because epic war is fight. So I get that. I think for native speakers, it might be a bit tougher. It doesn't seem, because even in the UK, it's not that big. It's still a bit better, I think, than in the US, but the US is just a very different music and especially metal culture where it's like the US metal sound is very distinct from the European one. And bands that are huge in the US, they're oftentimes not that big here in Europe either. So, I mean, you have your top level, top tier festival headliners, but like those bands that would still play like big venues in the US, like maybe draw 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. Here in Europe, they might not draw 1,000 or 2,000 or maybe just a couple of hundred. So it's really a different taste, I think, and a different socialization with the different types of metal. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's all I had. Dark, what else you got?
Well, just on that, I was wondering, like, I just had this idea. Wait. Power metal tour routing in the US. Because if what you're talking about, I think what I hear is like the US is more like Pantera or Slipknot or Lamb of God. Is that the
yeah, essentially, and even smaller bands like that but essentially, you hit it right on spot.
So, I actually don't remember. Wait, Slipknot's from Iowa, I think.
Slipknot is, yeah.
Yeah. So Lamb of God is from right near where Bruce is, and Pantera is from Texas. So what you need is a northern U.S. tour. Just start like in New York and go west. Like I think this might work because I think that's where this stuff would go over. Apparently, do you remember Celador? They were from like Nebraska, I think.
I remember because I'm friends with Bill Hudson, who used to play for them. So I know them.
Well, tell them, if you're friends with them, please tell him to bring Northtail back because I miss that band. But
I mean, now that he's not doing Northtail anymore, who knows? But he's so busy, you know, with his like hired gun gigs, you know, with Doro and iMorbid and stuff like that. So I don't think he really needs it.
Just go straight west, end at Seattle. Maybe this is how you do it. Like, forget Texas.
Yes, and in the grunge capital of the world. All right, that will work well for power metal.
But
what could possibly go wrong?
Queensryche is from Seattle, so is Nevermore. But
but Nevermore is also Nevermore is very not European power metal.
I know. But I think it's a little more open. Is the point?
Maybe you're right.
That's all right.
That's all I had. Dark, you got anything else?
No, I got to socialize this more. The power metal tour routing. Who do I get in contact with?
So here's what I'm thinking: if you happen to be in Florida in January, the first beer's on you. Because I put it out into the
universe. You will manifest it into being.
Yes.
Yeah. If that happens, it shall be so.
Nice dark beer, and we'll meet at the pub.
Sounds good.
All right. Be well, my friend. Thank you for taking the time.
You too. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Take care. Great meeting, dude. See ya.
Bye.